So myself, Anju here. I am the Docker Kubernetes trainer. So I have totally 15 years experience in IT industry, and I've been working in multiple companies. And here, what I'll be teaching you, like about all the fundamentals about the Docker. Okay. So in that, we'll be covering up like what is a Docker, how the commands, like basic commands, can be used in the Docker container, how to create a Docker container, how to build our own image, how to customize our own application, how do we access that, how do we troubleshoot it, how is the networks work in that, how do we use the storage in that, right? So all the fundamentals will be first teaching on the Docker. And we'll talk about what all the Docker container runtime we have, and all this will be explained. And we'll move into the Kubernetes, right? So the Kubernetes is a container orchestration, or container orchestration in the sense we can manage all the containers, right, using the Kubernetes. So we have a lot of things we can be done in this Kubernetes. So I mean, there are many resources available in this Kubernetes. Like we heard about that API, so kubeconfig and secrets. What is deployment? What is daemon set? What is events? What is help? Image pull policy, and ingress, init container, job, labeling, limit range, liveness pop, readiness pop, and manifest directory, network policy, PV, PVC, quota limit, replication set, reset policy, roles and binding, and cluster role and cluster binding, services, sidecar pod, pains and tolerance, right? All this will be teaching in this Kubernetes. And how do we do that everything in a practically, and how to at last, how do we use all this, and we'll make an entire application or entire deployment, right? Yeah, and in that we'll teach about how do we deploy it, how do we roll back, roll out, and using the Helm, how do we do the deployment, how do we roll back, roll out, and all. And not only that, we'll see that how do we basic monitoring about using this Grafana. And we'll just we'll show you that AWS Cloud, how to install the EKS, and how do we run this, or the Kubernetes commands in that, and how do we create the deployment, everything in that. We'll show it in the EKS cluster also. So that is actually we'll be teaching in this. Okay, covering up.
Okay. In the curriculum, you have also mentioned Azure and GCP. Would that also be covered?
Yeah, when you go with Azure and GCP, they will teach everything in the not the fully. But I'm teaching everything in a fully fledged format. I mean, everything will be teaching in that. So they will cover up everything in a base. You can see there are only the fundamentals they are teaching in that. Either you can go with AWS or Azure, or you can go with what is that? GCP, right? Sorry, yeah. Google Cloud, yeah. But what is the point of learning all this cloud? You are actually a beginner, and you need to know that on which cloud you are going to work, right? So in that, you need to work on that, right? Even there are many applications available with the different, all are same only, right? GCP, all are cloud only. But even if you want to learn everything, it depends upon your company use purpose. Like even if your company is using AWS, okay, you can go and learn the AWS. They're using Azure, then you can go with that. And even if you're GCP, then you can go. But basically, I am an AWS trainer on Kubernetes. I'll be teaching on that. So it's up to you. Yeah.
So I can decide if I want to go in this track, AWS or Azure or GCP, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, understand. But the basics would still remain the same for any
of
the tracks.
All the clouds will be same. Only the names will be slightly different for every resource does the same purpose. Only thing, the name will be different. Once you learn any one of the cloud, then it's easy to learn all other clouds. And no point of learning all the clouds at a time. Any one would be enough. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
And
Linux would also be bit covered, or
yeah,
it's a part
Linux
of
also would
requirement
be
database.
covered. Yeah, I'll be covering basics here because since you're a beginner, you need the basics because otherwise it will be difficult for you to understand everything, right? So I can teach
Yeah.
all the fundamentals, which is necessary to learn this topic. Even you do from your end also learning about the Linux because that is mandatory, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So without that, it will be complicated to learn. Yes. When I run some kind of a basic or like a Vim command, okay, if you are not able to understand, you have to you cannot learn the other things which I'm teaching in the Kubernetes. All right. So first thing, learn this Linux. I'll also teach you. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Any questions from your end regarding this, whatever we discussed so far?
So in this Kubernetes course, all these namespaces, pod, all this concept will
Everything will
also
be
be
covered.
covered, right?
Everything will be.
K9.
Okay, which one?
Okay. kubectl.
Yes, kubectl.
And I think
So
we
what is
use this K9 as terminal to check the pods and everything.
Canaan? I didn't get that.
K9 terminal.
Terminal, you're talking about, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Terminal, yeah, we'll be running all the commands from the terminal only. And we'll be covering
Okay.
about like what is pod, what is namespace, what is replica set, what is daemon set, what is endpoints, what is services, what is load balancer, what is in the services again, load balancer, cluster IP, node port. All this fundamentals will be cleared very thoroughly so that you can understand everything. And what is labeling? Why do we use a labeling? Why do we use a selector? Okay. So that once you understand the fundamentals, then it is easy to learn that. So even I can teach you that, I'll be teaching you that what is the structure of this YAML file, or what is imperative way of deployment or creating the resources, what is the declarative way of doing the deployments, what actually is the difference, and why we use that these two things. Okay. So once you understand the basics, the fundamentals, then easy to learn this Kubernetes. The people, they go and join in the courses, if they teach some kind of advanced things, then it's not easy to learn that. Once you understand the concepts very clearly, then it's easy to learn.
Okay, got it. So this course would cover basic plus advanced both, or how is it?
Yeah, basic plus advanced. So you're joining as a Docker plus Kubernetes, right? So this is actually a full-fledged course about Kubernetes.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. Thanks for the info.
Yeah, and even I can show you a simple demo, demo, so that you can understand, right, how the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can see the AWS console.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my AWS console, and where I'm just going to an EC2 in the sense where we have the servers running. Okay, so you can see here, this is called EC2, Elastic Container Servers. Sorry, Elastic Servers. So when I click on, there is an instance here. When I click on this, the first thing I need to go to which region I have created the server. So basically, I am using this AP-South-1, which is in Mumbai. This is the storage data center I'm using to create the servers. So in the instance running, we can see there is one instance running. Click on that. We can see one server will be running. Yeah. called KHS master with the T2 dot medium. This is a hardware type. So when I select that server, we can see the information here. So I need the IP address of the server, the public IP address. Just copy that, and I'll use a terminal to run this or to log in that server from my local machine to that cloud. So I have a terminal called git bash. It's a Windows machine, right? So git bash we can use as a terminal. Okay. CD downloads. And I have to run one command to connect that server. So as a search -I, there is a, and I need to specify the server IP address here. Once I specify this, and if I say enter, I'll be able to connect to that server from my local machine. So SSH is a secure shell command, -I, and this key is used for the secure authentication. And Ubuntu is a user, and I'm just using the server IP address. Enter. So it'll ask me yes or no. Yes. So I'm inside the server now. Okay. So if I say the server is running with in this server, I have installed the Kubernetes, and we are going to run this Kubernetes commands here. Okay. Already I configured a Kubernetes server here. So now I'm not going to cover up like how did I install that, because you will not be able to understand how. So I'm going to show you like how we can use this Kubernetes, and how can we create a pod in this, right?
Yeah.
So if I run the command kubectl, kubectl is a command which we use to create the pods or deployments or replica sets or whatever in the Kubernetes. So yeah. So once I reach the kubectl command, and if I want to see that the Kubernetes is ready or not, so we can check Kubernetes. Yeah, kubectl get nodes. So we can see here, this is our Kubernetes, right? It's called the control plane. This is the master server. Okay. So master server is ready. Ready in the sense, in this server, all the services applications are up and running without any failure. That is the meaning of ready.
Okay.
Okay. And this is a version of Kubernetes we are using here. And how long this Kubernetes has been running? 13 minutes. And this is IP address of this master server. Okay. So if I want to see that what all the services are running in this Kubernetes as a pod, we can say kubectl get pods -capital A. So we can see some of the pods are running here, right? These all are pods. Calico, yeah. There's another Calico, Core DNS, HCD, Kube API server, Kube controller, Kube proxy, Kube scheduler. So these all are created by Kubernetes itself. It's actually system pods and not created by us. This is when you create configure Kubernetes, these pods automatically created. Okay, so each pod has its own functionality. Okay, Core DNS does the DNS job. We heard about the DNS, right? Domain name system, right?
Yeah.
So DNS functionality is already available in the Kubernetes, and there are many other pods which has their own each functionality. So if I explain that now, you might understand, you may not understand. So I will just see that how do we create a pod, so that you will understand what is a pod. So we can use kubectl command only to create a pod. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can use the YAML file, kubectl. So we are going to create our own pod. So we can say that kubectl run the pod name. We can say any name, like I say my pod. image is equal to the image name. It's called Nginx. Okay. That's all. Enter. kubectl. Even if you want to see that pod, you can see here, right? The pod is created, right? And the name of the pod is my pod, because I given as the name as my pod, right? So if I say kubectl get pod, so what it does the get, it will give you that pod information, right? You can see here, right? One pod is running here, right? Yeah. And its status is running. Age is 19 seconds. So which means our pod is currently running. We created our manual pod. Now, how do I log in inside the pod? You can say kubectl exec -it. Execute and -it is an option to get into the pod, and say that pod name, my pod hyphen bin bash. Bin bash is a shell to run the commands. Enter. See, currently I'm inside the pod. You can see here, right? It's a different problem. Yeah. Currently I'm inside the pod.
Inside the pod.
So if I say ls here, you can see that these are all the files we are able to see from the pod. Okay. If I create a file here called touch file one created by Anju ls, we can see that file here, right?
It's created. Yeah.
I'll exit from here. Exit from the pod. Now I am in the local machine, right? This is my master machine. Correct. Because I exited from the pod. And even if I log in again inside the pod, ls, still we can see that file here, right?
Yeah.
So which
it's
means
within the pod.
Within the pod. Correct. So this is a way we can create a pod, and we can just log in inside the pod, and we can create a file, or we can delete a file, or we can configure an application inside the pod. Right. Many things we can be done. Yeah. But this is not the way we create the application inside the pod. We'll learn that later. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is pod basically? What is a pod? Pod in the sense, if I talk about pro.io, okay. Any application are you familiar with? Nginx, are you familiar with Nginx application?
In theory, haven't
Yes,
worked
theory.
with it. In theory, it's a reverse proxy.
Reverse proxy, right? What is the port number of that Nginx service? 80.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing but a web server, and even that works as a reverse proxy also. Okay. That is called an Nginx. So when you want to run an Nginx, you can run an Nginx. It's an application, right?
Yeah.
So assume that this is a server. Okay. And server inside your you can run an application. So your server will have an IP address, right?
Yeah.
Assume that 192.168.0.1. This is your, or 10. This is your server IP address. Okay. And inside the server, you can run an Nginx service, right? Nginx. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So what is the port number of that Nginx?
80.
So from this server, how do you access? Suppose you're sitting from a different location, or this is your machine. Okay. And how do you access this Nginx application? You will be hitting on this server like this way, right? Like you will be using that server IP address 192.168.0.10.80.
80.
So that request will come to this server. So the request will come to this server from this machine to this server IP address, right? Then on the 80 port. So from here, the request will goes to this particular service.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the way actually that application is getting access. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
So
why you used the IP address in the beginning
yeah, right. IP address in the
instance.
beginning, colon, and the port number of that application. So each application
Okay.
will have their own static ports. Right. That will be a constant ports.
Uh-huh.
For Nginx, always the port number will be 80.
Okay.
Yeah. For
Okay.
FTP 21, for SSH 22, for you heard about the database called MySQL, right? MySQL.
Database. My
My,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is the port number? 3306. Okay. So
Okay.
each
Mm.
application has their own port number. So that is just an identity for them. Like to access that application, we use the port numbers. How do we access the servers?
Okay.
By the IP addresses. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
same way. So this is a way actually earlier we configured this application. We have to have a server and inside we have to configure that application in this way, like Nginx application need to be installed in that, right? So
Yeah.
now we are using the Docker concept. So Docker basically, what is a Docker? Docker is a small application. It's very lightweight. It has only very minimal packages to run that application. So the size of the Docker is very small compared to an operating system, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
OS in the sense it will have many files, dependency file, library files. OS itself will be having around 4 GB, 5 GB, something kind of a size, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, but the Docker has very small size, around MB or uh, MB size could be one Docker size. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the reason we are using the Docker nowadays. Because of that, we can do the deployments immediately, very quickly. We can. There is a lot of advantages when we started using the Docker. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is called. I'll create a Docker. Assume that this is a Docker called an Nginx. And the top of this is a Docker. Assume that this is a Docker. I'll just put a label here. What is pod basically? Pod in the sense. Okay. I'm not able to create that. Yeah. So this is a pod. Pod in the sense this outer layer, right? This is called a pod.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And pod will have an IP address, same like a server. 192.168 dot 3.2 or something like that. Assume that this is IP address of the pod. Okay.
Yeah.
And inside the pod, you can run a container. This is a container. And it's running with an Nginx. And the port will be 80, right?
Yeah. Pod has its own IP address. Okay.
Right. Pod has its own IP address.
Okay.
Okay. Pod inside running a containers. You got it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Pod in itself is running inside a container.
Container.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Pod will not have an IP.
Okay. It's the IP of container.
Container will not have an IP. I said the wrong. pod will have an IP.
Pod has, okay.
Yeah. You can run multiple containers in a pod. If
Okay.
sorry.
Only port name will be different, or
Right.
one port
Pod
name?
name will be different. Correct. So this I can run with a different application, like my SQL port number is
Mhm.
3306. Right.
Yeah.
So like that, multiple ports you can run in. Sorry, multiple container you can run inside a pod.
Okay. Can it have many of Nginx containers within
Ye-
same pod?
Yes, we can run many
Okay.
Nginx containers inside the same pod.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So how do you access that Nginx container now from this pod? Can you tell me that?
We will need the IP address and
IP address,
the port number for
port
that
number.
container inside.
Yes, correct. When I say 192.168.3.2:80, the request will goes to this particular pod,
This
this
yeah.
container. Sorry, right. So when I say 192.168.3.2:3306, the request will goes to this pod.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So this is the way actually the pod works.
Got it. Mhm.
So why that pod they created? The Kubernetes is actually managing the pods, not the containers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kubernetes manages the pod, but not the container.
not the
The
container.
container is managed by Docker.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
okay.
Top.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it. Yeah.
So we can create multiple pods. You can do an auto scaling on the pods. You heard about the auto scaling?
Yeah. Auto scaling
What is
to
the
increase the load.
load? Right. If suppose you have two pods are running and your load is increased on that, you can increase the number of pods, right? So the load will be balanced,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Deployments. Deployment is nothing but um, once you deploy an application, how do you roll back? In the sense, suppose you've done a deployment and that application is not running properly, and you want to run it
Mhm.
back immediately back to the previous version. So that
Okay.
can be
That's
done by the
component.
deployment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the namespace. What is namespace? Namespace in the sense like we can have a virtual cluster in the sense of where actually ports are running in a servers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one server is not good to run pods in a real-time production because when you run in a single server, all the pods, if you're running, if your server got failed due to hardware failure, what will happen? Entire application will be gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what they will do will run two servers or more than one servers. It can be two or three or four, and the
Mhm.
pods will be created in multiple servers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same
If
pods in
same
multiple
pod.
servers.
Yeah.
Mm.
If one server fails, immediately that pod will be created in another server, the same pod, available server.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't exist already. It will be created when one fails,
One
one server
fails.
fails. Okay.
So that it's called cluster. Cluster in the sense what? A group of servers. Right.
Okay. Group of servers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Inside only we are running
Systems.
the pods, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So within one cluster, there are many servers, and each
Many
server
servers.
has pods.
Pods.
Okay. And
So
pods have
name
containers.
pods
Mhm.
have containers. So what is namespace? Namespace in the sense it's a virtual cluster inside the real cluster. In the sense we can create a production infra, QA infra. It's a virtual, so that
Mhm.
you can create production pods in a virtual namespace called a prod namespace. So that in the namespace, a prod inside, you can run all the pods which are necessary for the production environment.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just giving an
Mhm.
overview of all the resources. Okay, so that we'll be teaching everything in a very detail, and this short time is not enough to explain everything. But I'm just
Yeah.
giving an
Yeah.
overview.
Good.
So any questions? I just showed you that you will be able to understand the demo of the way of teaching. You're good with that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. One last question which I had. So you will be teaching with AWS, right? But
AWS.
when, for example, in my project, when I might be using Azure, so the approach will be similar.
Approach will be similar, but again, you have to learn. Once you learn the AWS, it's not that difficult to learn the Azure. You can quickly learn
Okay.
that. Only the names are different. Yeah, yeah, that's all.
Okay, got it. So 90% you would say it's same only.
90% is
Indian
same. Same.
same only. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
ठीक है। ओके, देखता हूँ मैं एक बार जो मुझे कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं जो काउंसलर जो मैडम है उनसे मैं पूछता हूँ एआई के रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन भी
Correct.
कि इसका क्या है फीस स्ट्रक्चर एंड एवरीथिंग आई विल चेक विद हर
We can
वंस
teach you regarding that. Yeah.
and Jatin you okay, no worries, yeah, okay, because that gives a real time experience as well into the
Yeah.
IT domain as well as the learning
Yes.
because teaching field में क्या होता है ना बस हर बार हर बैच में वही कंटिन्यू चलते रहता है रिपीट राइट
Correct. I work with an IT company as well.
okay, okay, great.